Salutations from the Dapper Pancake, and who knew you could make Pikmin 4 more challenging just by adding a word that I can't spell correctly half of the time. The Nuzlocke is what I'm referring to. What is a Nuzlocke? The question that no one is wondering. Well, a Nuzlocke is a challenge that originally came from Pokemon. The rules state that you can only capture one Pokemon per route, and if it falls in battle, it is considered dead and cannot be used for the rest of the game. That is the basics of a Nuzlocke, to which the community added tons of new rules to make it both easier and harder. We knew that one day the Nuzlocke would sprinkle itself into other games, and if you ask me, I think it's time for Pikmin to get its time in the spotlight. Before we begin, I think it's fair that if I explain the rules of the duel. Rule number 1, you can only get one batch of Pikmin per route, or in this case, area. The way this works is that on the overworld, you can only bring one creature or one Farlick back to the Onion to create more Pikmin or increase capacity. And with there only being 6 areas, that means only 6 overworld encounters. Caves are a bit different. While caves have a lot of Pikmin just lying around unplugged or fighting creatures, you can only choose one batch or one Farlick, meaning that if I get these yellow Pikmin, for example, I cannot get this batch or any Farlicks I find. For night expeditions, you can only take one batch of star pieces back to the Luminol per mission, but you can only do each mission once, while Dandori battles and Dandori challenges stay unchanged, since you don't keep any of those Pikmin. Rule number 2, you're only allowed one static encounter per area. You may be wondering what is considered a static encounter in this run. Well, that's Pikmin you are forced to either create or get, or the Onion. Using the Sun-Speckled Terrace as an example again, there are 2 static encounters in the overworld, a yellow onion and a blue onion. So at this point, you must decide what's more important to get. Rule number 3, if the captain goes down, it's an instant game over. And if Ochi goes down, he can no longer be used, which could lead to soft locking, so you could bring Ochi back. In exchange, you must instantly extinct one Pikmin type, and it must be one you currently have. You may be wondering, what do I mean by extinct a Pikmin type? Well, that's where rule number 4 comes into play. If you completely run out of a Pikmin type, the Pikmin type is now considered extinct and can no longer be used. Even if future caves have encounters with that Pikmin, you best leave them in the ground. So if you run out of all Pikmin types, that's a game over. Rule number 5, if you lose any of the bonus challenges, that's a game over, unless you're willing to extinct a Pikmin type to retry. This goes for losing in a Dandori battle and Dandori challenge, as well as the night expedition, by having the Luminol go down. If you retry the night expedition, you cannot just use the dingo function. You must actually repeat the mission. Rule number 6, all health increasing, defense boosting, and resistant giving gear is all banned for your Nuzlocke, so you can only buy utility items from Russ. This also means the emergency kit and scrummy bones are banned. Speaking of gear, let's take a close look at Ochi's skills. We all know that this little pupper is broken. That's why the rush, heal, and bite are banned in this run as well. Every other Ochi skill can be learned. I know learning skills gives the scrumming bone, but hear me out. Just don't use them, cause they're banned. With these 6 rules in play, join me as I tell you the tale as old as time that is the Pikmin 4 Nuzlocke. So I thought the opening with Olimar was going to be smooth sailing, but I was only half right, for at the very beginning we are forced to destroy these bases for there's no other way to get down. Thus, these 5 red Pikmin are my static encounter. So I just had to make sure not to grab any more type of Pikmin while heading over to the Porquillin. You must get through us if you want to pass. Oh hey, there's my encounter for this area. With the 7 Pikmin in hand, it was time to take down the Porquillin. There are no stakes here, for I don't think you can lose. Regardless, Porquillin down. I then make my character and get to BNF 404 to save my crew. And, well, Olimar. We get Ochi, Colin, and Shepard. Now the tutorial is our first roadblock. For in order to progress, you need 300 Sparklia that is spread between these 3 treasures, meaning it's required to get them all. Ochi can get 1 just fine, but he only has the power of 3 Pikmin. The other treasure needs 10 and the other 5, but Ochi can't reach that one, meaning that I am forced to make 7 red Pikmin to get the treasures. But after this, there shouldn't be any other roadblocks. Thus, the first day comes to an end. Day 2 has begun, and it was time to head to the Sun-Speckled Terrace. I knew things would be tough with only 7 reds and a tiny Ochi, but I had a plan in mind that I wanted to accomplish. So I decided to save my encounter and get my red Pikmin to start breaking some walls. It took a bit, but it wasn't that bad. And after breaking this wall, I beelined it for the next wall to make a quick entry into the crackling cauldron. Into the crackling cauldron we go, and I already failed the run. You see, I was already so excited to get my encounter that I plucked these 5 yellows, which would be my encounter for the entire cave. However, while fighting a fiery blowhog, I accidentally whistled in the direction of another batch of yellows, thus already breaking the rules. One reset later, I decided to ignore them and just go for the batch of yellows next to the blowhog, and use that as my encounter. I can definitely say, not having a full squad of Pikmin definitely makes the process much slower, regardless of your Dandori skills. Now that we have this encounter of 5 yellows, I am not allowed to pluck or whistle any new Pikmin in this cave, meaning we will have 12 Pikmin for the rest of the Crackling Cauldron. I hope this all makes sense. Next and final floor! I don't know about you, but seeing very small groups of Pikmin completing tasks compared to the much bigger groups we're so used to seeing fills my heart with joy a little bit. Something tells me this is gonna be a nice run after all. Huh. Wonder what that word's all about. I took down some bads and got some snacks. More than one. And saved Russ, of course. Thus ending my trip to the Crackling Cauldron. Oh, we have so much of the day left. This is great. I decided to have my 5 yellow Pikmin take down the electric fence, while me and the reds went on a nice adventure to get some sparkly. Oh, look. The yellows finished the game. Wait, no, that's not good. Stop, yellows. The Bulborb still lurks.
I hunger.
I forgot that the fence drops raw materials. Please be safe, yellows. Well. You win some, you lose some. With our first loss of the run, we press on getting treasures and materials. To finish the day, I think we'll get another encounter. I entered the last Frost Cavern to get a pretty chilly encounter. Before fighting the blowhog, my attention was drawn to the moving bases. I know ice Pikmin were in there, blocking the Farlick, so even if I wanted the Farlick as my encounter for this cave, it wasn't possible. So I break the vase hoping to get more than 5 ice Pikmin. No dice. At least we got some new Pikmin. And with that, I finished the cave. Most of the caves won't be 100%ed from here on out. For some caves, I'll choose Pikmin, while others, I'll choose Farlick. So you may be wondering why I haven't gotten my overworld encounter yet. Well, that's because... Well, that's not happening. Guess the blues will have to wait. I decided to avenge my lost yellow Pikmin by taking down those pesky Bulborbs and setting up a new base. And with that, the day comes to an end. Today was pretty good, all things considered, and we're already so close to the first Sparklium goal. Fantastic. I start the day by getting some upgrades. I decided to fully commit into Ochi's buff skill, for I feel my numbers may be small for a while. I also buy some gear from Russ, and a lot of Pick car cars. Let me tell you guys, I used Pick car cars all throughout the run. This is probably the best item in the game for me. Trust. Upon landing, I get some treasures, and just like that, the 1500 Sparklium threshold was met. Off to the Hectic Hollows. I knew I'd get a new Ice Pikmin encounter here, but part of the encounter is choosing wisely. For you see, we have 5 flower ice Pikmin waiting to be plucked, but at the same time, we have 5 ice Pikmin here technically blocking the way for Ochi, and this hydro jelly that I don't trust all that much. So we leave it be and go to the next floor. Another interesting thing I realized is that Pikmin could potentially get in the way. For the final floor, I have to fight a tusked blowhog who likes to charge and break pots. And it just so happens that pot has some Pikmin in it, to which we can't get since we already got our encounter. Therefore, I had to defeat the tusked blowhog before either he and or Ochi broke the pot. Crisis averted. 100% baby! I quickly started running into a problem. 20 Pikmin clearly wasn't going to be enough to get all of these treasures, so I made up my mind. My overworld encounter was going to be the Flarlick, baby! To which I messed up yet again. I didn't break any rules, but I also realized that I needed 10 yellows to pull down this obstacle to get the pumpkin. But I already got my encounter. But since I knew the blue onion wasn't doable, I got the yellow onion as my static encounter. But I'm still very low on yellows, so either way, I'm in quite a bind. I didn't think this would be my first roadblock of the challenge. Regardless, let's fight Leafamar and finish up the day. Just a quick reminder, in Dandori battles, I can make as many Pikmin as I want, since I keep none of them. And trying to play this with the one encounter rule sounds like an absolute nightmare, so no thanks. Other than that, Leafamar was a pushover as always. After I got the Leafling back to the ship, there was really nothing else we could do for the day. With that, Day 3 comes to a close. I think I may go to the next area on Day 4. Let's see! I decided to start the day off by upgrading Ochi's super buff so he can carry a weight of 30 picks. I also got a free Ice Blast and unlocked the second area, the Blossoming Arcadia, and he's coming up next. We are finally here, and oh my god, I forgot I had so little Pikmin. I sure hope I don't make a mistake and lose most of my Pikmin. While most of my picks were carrying raw materials back to the base, I thought my 3 ice picks and I could handle an electric rat. And since I was fresh off of recording a short using my 100% file, I thought Ochi was immune to electricity, despite that item even being banned in this run. And sure enough, I lost 2 ice. Don't worry, yellows to the rescue. Lost them too.
Hashtag not Dory.
Now I was only down to 2 yellows, and them alone could not break the gate of progression. I was desperate. Therefore, I found a loophole. Remember that normal onions are static encounters, and if you get an onion you already have, you get 20 Pikmin. And looky here, baby. Obviously, since it's an onion and gives me Pikmin, I counted it as my overworld encounter and my static encounter. With that, we have 22 yellows to our name, and this gate don't stand a goddamn chance. With that, I'd head into the Secluded Courtyard. There wasn't that much to cover in the first floor, except that there were blue Pikmin ripe for the taking. And for once, I did not yield. I wasn't sure if blue Pikmin were what I wanted for this cave encounter. I wanted to see what my options were first, so I ignored them and move on to the next floor. So no blues on this floor, but there were some yellows. But I did just get 20, so I'll pass. It's moments like these that I wish I could go back when life was simpler. Like when I had 10 icy boys. Now this is more like it. An encounter worthy of the Dapper Pancake name.
Remember, 1 encounter per cave, and Farlight counts as an encounter.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to the Farlight just yet, so I had Ochi take it close to the ship and then stop. To which I stumbled upon this. 5 blues fighting a gooey lad which blocked a certain gold pile. And lemon! So I attempted to go around them. Okay, not in the cards. So at this point I had to make a decision. 5 random blues as my encounter plus treasure, or plus 10 to my PC stats. This is why I made the Nuzlocke like this, for decisions like this can be much more important compared to a normal playthrough. And finally, I made my decision.
Are you a Pikmin? Because you're about to be plucked! Yo!
The Foolix, despite their HP, went down without a problem. And with 2 new beeps, the Secluded Courtyard was, well concluded. Returning to the surface, I somehow had just enough time to challenge and destroy Leafymon, and get the Leafling to the ship. I won't lie, day 4 did start out pretty bad, but we turned it around in the best way possible. Are we back? Day 5. Ochi has learned to swim! I started building a bridge only to realize I don't need it. Swim! Great. To make matters worse, I thought it would be a good idea to go into Kingdom of the Beast. Paula, it's that word again. Get it out of here. I realized reds were probably going to play a significant role in this cave, to which I saw some reds fighting a bullboard. I also saw some rustling in the bushes, but if both were reds, I'd be better to get the ones that are in the way. And thus our encounter for Kingdom of Beast is 5 red Pikmin. I made a mistake! Oh no, I made a mistake! And there are no take-backsies in the laws of Nuzlocke. I thought the cave was soft locked for now since crystal walls can only be broken by rock Pikmin. And we already had our encounter for the cave. But thankfully, I had a few bomb rocks, meaning I can get some treasure. Okay, not a one-shot wall. Shoot. Okay, I'll throw my last 2 to go. Wait, but that one was 1? Seriously? Ugh, I'm leaving. No Rockies from me. That's Nuzlocke, baby. You ain't never gonna know what you're gonna get. Oh, well, this is gonna take a while. Don't worry, I'll come back to ruin the run later in the video. The moment I saw more crystal walls, I knew this was going to be a bust. Or so I thought. That's when, without warning, Rock Pikmin gave me a letter asking me to meet behind the school, to which they confessed their love for me.
I love you.
Whoa. In the form of flowers and God, I'm lonely. But see, this was no ordinary flower. This was in the form of the candy pop bud. How it works is you give a Pikmin and they turn into the color of the bud. Now I have rock Pikmin. I say this counts since I gave some yellows away in exchange for rocks rather than adding more Pikmin through an encounter. Hey, what's that chain for?
Hey, well, that's rule number 7.
Oh, right. How can I forget? Okay, let me explain. You see, another big thing people do in Nuzlocks are co-op Nuzlocks, also known as soul links, to which your encounters are paired with your team member, meaning if your starter dies, so does theirs. To which I wanted to implement that in this Nuzlocke. Since Candy Pop bots can come in clutch, I wanted there to be a downside to using them. So whatever Pikmin you throw into that bud, that type becomes linked with the type that the bud corresponds. Meaning, if I lose all my rock Pikmin and they become extinct, the yellows instantly become extinct as well. Don't you just love how I'm making this challenge harder and I'm barely in the second area? Me neither. Let's continue. Now, things are getting real. We got some hard-hitting bull bears on this floor. With the power of their massive dumpy, I was in trouble. Unless I used 2 of my many pick cars I brought to make short work of them. I also decided to get 5 more rock Pikmin. I mean, hey, the rocks and yellows are linked anyway, might as well take advantage. The exit was blocked off by some mushroom bushes. Thankfully, the Pikmin in there were unplugged. So I left them alone and continued on. It was at this moment that I remembered exactly why I was going to regret going into this cave. I forgot that there are 2, count them, 2 emperors.
Boom, baby!
This is fine. Just gotta get some nectar and I'll plan to... Oh, come on! This fight was gonna be rough. Mainly because I didn't have the type of units to just brute force it. Thus, I go with the pick car strat, which is still tough for these bastards like to waddle around like me after leaving islands on a Saturday evening. To make matters worse, I forgot about the roar and definitely had a panic attack. And just like that, we lost a Pikmin. But somehow, we only lost that one and got rid of the first emperor. And for some reason, the other emperor decided to reflect on life.
You know, rehab was supposed to be a fresh start. But no matter how many starts I get, there's always the same ending. Everything falls apart, and I end up alone.
I'm still here, Emperor.
Why?
Emperor, I got a carrot with your name on it.
You still do.
Okay, 1 Pikmin lost was actually not bad. I'd say this cave was an actual success.
Hot diggity dog! This run is magnificent.
Wait! Welp. I truly fumbled with literally no enemies left. Fantastic. With a total of 6 Pikmin lost, that ends the Kingdom of Beast. Yippee. The elves kept coming as I lost yet another blue, thus meaning we had 3 of them left. Things weren't looking too good, so I dove into the Sightless Passage before the day ended, just to get 1 more encounter. Sightless Passage is easy regardless on if you have the headlamp or not. I come in, get 5 yellow Pikmin as an encounter, 100% the cave, and get out. We also got Dr. Yanni! With that, there's not much time left to do anything. However, after the day ends, we do have enough sparklium to head to the next area, which I might just do. Especially after looking at how many blues we have, we definitely need to bring that number up, and pronto. Before heading off, I buy the Idler's Alert and get super buff maxed for Ochi. With that, it was time for the Serene Shores. I knew the first thing I needed to do was get some more blues for a certain dungeon. So I rush up on Orlando, fight the romp, wasted a mine, and had a close call, but we took him down. Now all that's left is to get my... Oh, well... Oh. But hey, there's below grade disco the... Huh? Discotheque, okay. But hey, at least there's below grade discotheque, I guess. Okay, so we need a headlamp. We'll be fine. We are not fine. We are not fine. So there were 5 reds here, but I decided to wait. I wanted to see what my other options were for an encounter. Second floor was a little less jump scary. With the possible encounter of yellows, I decided to risk it and not go for them, still hoping a better encounter is out there. The next room was a puzzle room, where I had to make a really tough choice. Do I get the winged? To which I declined. Their presence in Pikmin 4 isn't too great. Plus, the only unit that could really link up with some were the Reds, and I wasn't trying to risk that. Our troops were already way too low. Since I now knew the 3 types of Pikmin in this cave, the next floor would have to be my encounter. For the floor after would be the boss. Thankfully, it was Reds who would be my encounter. I had to make a sprinkle system since fire immunity is banned for the team, and I wanted to get that treasure. So I got my encounter, made water, and got ready for the big boy boss who was waiting below. Oh, yeah. I knew my forces were very low, but I had to do this. I will do this. Wait, something's not adding up. They said to get the headlamp to make the cave easier, but... It's the headlamp who I saw being sold by Russ, who I refused to buy out of his selection of items in his repertoire. In the cave where the whole cave is dark, so if we went in here without the headlamp, it's dark, and if we find a boss in here, it's still dark. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Wait, this is really bad. Dark Groovy Longlegs is no joke. I thought his light would be enough, to which I was wrong. Trying to fight this boss has just become much harder, for my only windows of attack were when he was in his blue phase or during the slight pause in the yellow phase. Problem was that even though I thought I was keeping a safe distance, those legs would still creep up on you. Wait, no, Ochi! I lost Ochi. And if we look back to the rules, Ochi can no longer be used unless I extinct a unit to bring him back. Okay, it's not the end yet. All I gotta do is beat Groovy Longlegs without Ochi. But with all my Pikmin scattered, this was gonna be tough. I was already losing Pikmin as it was, and just like that, the stars aligned. And by stars, I mean yellow Pikmin. There go my yellow Pikmin. Extinct. Gone. Reduced to nothing. And then it hit me. My yellows and rocks were linked, so the rock Pikmin are now also extinct. After losing even more Pikmin, Groovy Longlegs finally went down, and I had to just stand there. I lost Ochi and 2 Pikmin units in this one cave. Possibly a third, for I need Ochi for this run. I got a lot of Sparklium, sure, but now things have took a turn for the worse. This is bad. As always, I end the day by fighting Leafamar, to which I actually struggled on. Since Ochi is considered not alive at this moment, I had to do the Dandori battle without him. Okay, pause real quick. I know what yellows are extinct. These aren't my yellows. I don't keep these after the battle, and mine are all in the Great Dandori in the sky. Thanks to our 3 blues, we take the Leafling to the ship and watch the sun go down, wondering how we're gonna turn this run around. So I bought Rush Brutes. That's probably the only eventful thing that happened today. Look, I tried. I really did. But the problem is that I'm just short-staffed on Pikmin. I got none left to really do anything. Sure, I could do other caves in previous locations, but that won't help. An extra 10 to 15 Pikmin isn't going to make the biggest difference, and not having Ochi made even getting an overworld encounter impossible. Obviously, there are 2 caves in the Serene Shores that will help me reach my next Sparklium goal, but I got no blue Pikmin, and I need them for that. The blue onion is here, so I could get my static encounter, but I don't have 20 Pikmin to carry it. So at this point, I was stuck. There was only one thing I could do, so with a saddened heart, I prepped for the next upset. That being the fact that I have to give up and maybe restart this run. Colin, where are the ice Pikmin? They said something about performing a ritual at the Serene Shores. Great. Just what I needed. I better get over there.
No matter where we are, we'll always be a part of you.
Ice Picks? What are you doing? Stop!
Dap, you gotta finish this run, brother.
But you dying isn't gonna make that any... Wait, no, Ice Picks!
Rule number 3, Dap. It states that Ochi can come back at the cost of an extinction of a Pikmin unit.
There has to be another way!
Negative, Commander. The only future we will stand for is the one where you beat this challenge. Min, positions.
Hoorah!
Save the world, Dap. For Alamar's sake.
Ice Picks!
Ochi has entered the room.
There goes another unit. And with that, 12 reds, 3 blues, and 1 oat. I needed to turn this run around for the sake of the ice Pikmin. But in order to do that, I needed to end the day. I had only 1 chance at this. Let's do this! So I head back to the Sun-Speckled Terrace to get some Pikmin, but there was 2 caves I haven't gone into yet. The Industrial Maze being the only left was an encounter I could get. I speed blitz floor 1 and head into the 2nd floor. Never mind, I thought the encounter was reds, but it looks like it's yellows. Get me out of here. So I head back to the Serene shores. I go into the Seafloor Resort, just to get a blue Pikmin encounter, to which I leave. I now have a total of 20 Pikmin, which is all I need. I take the 20 Pikmin to get my static overworld encounter in the form of the blue onion. Then my actual overworld encounter in the form of the rumpup, giving me a grand total of 30 extra blues. Now that business is blueing, let's continue with the comeback of the century. So I head back into the Seafloor Resort, ignore the respawn blue Pikmin since I already got my encounter, and just got treasures. 7,000 Sparklium? Checked. In the 2nd floor, I fought the boss of the cave, being the greater spotted jellyflow. Since I had no ice, I had to fight this boy the safe way. Lost 1 blue, but we stay strong. Also, Rip Giant Ducky, you will be missed. Floor 3 had some hard hitters, from the Prickle Puffs and Crabs. Despite this, I took my time going through all the treasures and only fighting what I needed to make the run back to the ship safe. Followed by some nice Dendore and using Ochi to break the wall so I didn't have to fight another jelly, we got a pile of raw materials and pressed on. For once in my life, we took this sorry excuse of a boss somewhat seriously. To which, I sure hope you didn't expect a different outcome than this. Come on. With lots of Sparklium to our name, this was only phase 1 of the plan. Phase 2, get as many overworld treasures as I can. While doing so, stock up on some spicy sprays, to which I then dig out 1 last treasure before the day ends. We don't get it, but that's okay, for we are taking 1 more trip to the Serene Shores, to which I think most of you know where I'm going, place that I haven't talked about yet. But with 30 blues in tow, I think it was time to face the Wraith. Wrath. We got so much Sparklium that day, even the ship's engine is at full capacity. All that's left is to find our pilot. I start the day off by buying tons of items from Russ, and maxing out Ochi's donkey paddle to help out transporting treasures. I get 1 more spray and the last treasure and prepare for the next skill check. The Engulfed Castle. Let's do it to it. I've always wanted to say that unironically. Okay, so I'm not playing around with the, lure fire enemies into water. No, lots and lots of bumps. I got my encounter as well. I lost 2 blues due to my poor timing, but if that's the worst thing that can happen in this cave, then I'm happy. I move on before he shows up.
Too late. I'm here, and I'm coming.
Freeze! He who he's coming. In that time, the 2nd floor was cleared. See ya!
I'll be back.
The 3rd floor was easy. I cleared all the threats and opened the bars, to which I was able to clean up and get all the tasty treasures. Thinking about it now, I think the 1st floor was probably the hardest floor. Let's see if the 4th floor proves me wrong. The 4th floor was just really annoying. So many enemies that just take time to get rid of, which is probably the point. This stupid frog did snatch a picky, and just as I was getting the last treasure,
I'm back.
wait, freeze! He who is still coming.
Oh no. I say when we're done.
This is bad. The blues carrying the last treasure are heading in his direction. Maybe if I use an ultra spicy spray, I could get to them faster. But at the same time, that means the Pikmin will get to him faster. You know what? Forget it. I got this. I dash towards the Wraith and spam my whistle. We lost 1, unfortunately, but better than all of them. I work around the Wraith and get the last treasures, as well as some raw materials for the road. And I get the heck out of here. The final floor. And look what we have here. Okay. I can never do that without laughing. And with that, the purple Pikmin are on our side. And they're linked with the blues. Our most powerful units come together to take down this Wraith once and for all. The Wraith is still scary, what the heck? It seems like if I'm not careful, he could easily take down Ochi, despite us having the advantage. Regardless, I take my time and finally take him down, and leave the Engulfed Castle. We lost a lot of blues, including the ones we used to turn into perps, but 21 is still good. With there being so much time left, I use it to get even more treasures. I also use an Ice Blast to pave the way to the stereotype, and risk fighting the Whip-Tongue Bobob. And with the day about to be over, I head into 1 more cave. So without ice Pikmin, I didn't have high hopes for this cave. I just wanted to see if there was any type of encounter I can get. I was able to use the ice blowhawks to freeze these jellies so I can get the treasure, but I had to use an ice blast to make it to the next floor. And this was where we had to end our frozen journey. Without ice picks, it was just impossible to take out the ice cubes. And since immunity items are banned, not even Ochi can break them. I did decide to get white Pikmin, just in case, to which they are linked with the red. I'll probably come back with more bomb rocks a different day, only if needed. I then ended the day immediately to avoid the power of those crabs. I think now that we have so much sparklium, it's time to get our pilot back. I start the day by buying some more supplies and maxing out Ochi Rockin' Stone, and head to my first night expedition, where we get our new unit, the Glow Pikmin. Remember, night expos can be scary. If you lose by the luminol going down, you can only retry by extincting a unit. And if you lose all Glow Pikmin, that type is extinct and it's game over unless you can solo with Ochi and items. It's such a big skill check, but you do only have to do about 4 of them. Each level is also a new encounter for the glows. The way it works is that you can only choose 1 pile of star bits to take back to the luminol, and that's it. So I took 20 back and got 6 glows, making 16, which made the first night really easy. As for the glow seeds you get afterwards, you can use them in the night expos or in caves. As long as they leave due to completing their mission and they don't fall in battle, the unit will not be considered extinct. So let's say I went to the cave right now and used all 4 seeds. That would not extinct the glow Pikmin unless those glow Pikmin I summoned lost their life in battle. Hopefully that makes sense. TLDR, don't use them in caves until you no longer need them in night expeditions. Reminder, you cannot repeat missions. You have to do a new mission each time. So onward to day 13. More bomb rocks, please. So night 2 also went pretty smooth. Oh my god! So I beeline it to my starbit encounter. The only reason why this was risky was because the glow Pikmin had to make multiple trips to get all 40 in, and by that time the Bulbulbs were on the attack. So I rushed back to the luminol to stop them. Thankfully, with this many glows, they one-cycled the Bulborbs with their charge attack. I would say the only scare was the Jumbo Bulb respawning, but thanks to Pick Carcars and an Ice Blast, I got through it. 2 down, 2 to go. Now that multiple areas are open, I go to the Blossoming Arcadia, since its first level is a danger level of 1, which means it'll be easier. And it was. Ochi's Rush, while not upgraded at all due to the rules, was still able to one-shot Skitterleaves, making this whole night a breeze. Hey you, wanna see a sick Ochi clip? Nice. I decided to get the last night expo out of the way, so when we do cure Lithomar, I can just do exactly that. I went for the first area in the Serene Shores, which I don't recommend. The enemies weren't too crazy, but there's just so much enemy density that I had to use some bomb rocks to get through some encounters. But we persevered and got the last glow sap we need. Night expo skill check complete. Now before heading to the hero's hideaway, I wanted to do a quick victory lap. That victory lap was going back to the Sub-Zero's sauna to test something. And there it is. I finish up the floor and head down. Might as well see if there's an encounter I can get. To my surprise, there was no encounter for me. Therefore, I took down the Arctic Cannon Beetle and got even more sparkly. I took the rest of the day to do some Ochi fishing and get some underwater treasures. The only problem was while attempting to get one, my controller decided not to work and lost me 4 blues. Definitely something I did not need. So I cut my losses and ended the day early. There wasn't much more we needed anyway. With that, Serene Shores comes to a close. And with that, day 17 begins as we take our first step into the hero's hideaway with more threats, caves, and more importantly, encounters! I gotta stop doing that, but it's so fun. I will admit, I took a small break from the challenge and forgot how little Pikmin we had, and that yellow, rock, and ice were extinct. And how the yellow sprout kept on yellowing. Go away! You're supposed to be extinct. Moving on, despite these hurdles, I knew if we could make it here, we were guaranteed a shot at the final area. Mainly because this is the last area we need to get any treasure in. I'll explain later. But the reason I knew we'd be fine is because of our encounter. The static is void since Ice Pikmin are extinct, but I'm talking about the normal encounter. You see, your Horde Cannon Beetle is an easy boss once you know the rhythm, and yet it's worth 50 Pikmin. Oh yeah, we are so back. And with a plus 50 red stats, we head to the Plunder Palace before the day ends. The main reason I'm going into the Plunder Palace is for more pubs and a Farlick encounter. Alright, time to plunder. First floor wasn't too eventful. Let's just take this time to appreciate the bread bugs, baby.
Hi, it's me. I'm a red bug. Me too. I'm also a red bug. Ah.
On the second floor, we had a whip-tongue bulborb attacking something invisible. Where I didn't see anything, we also had to maneuver around these crystal walls since rock Pikmin no longer existed. From downtown! While the whip-tongue was seeing dead people, we took the gold, only to realize we can't even get 100% on this floor, unless we wanted to waste bomb rocks. But at this point, we already reached the 13,000 threshold, so we're set. The third floor was a mini-boss with a Porquillin that I could not be bothered with, so one Ice Blast and a Spicy Spray made short work of him. I think once I realized I reached the 13,000 Sparklium threshold, I immediately stopped caring about treasures. I got like nothing in floor 4, since I don't really need to anymore. So more bread bugs, I guess. At least they're nice enough to give their buddies some air. It was time for the final floor. Before anything, I cleared out the pesky bull bears to make things a tad bit easier. After that, I took out the first bread bug from downtown and began some nice Dandori core, sending small groups to work on other tasks, as well as getting my cave encounter in the form of the fire lick, and the final bread bug, of course.
Wait, you're making a mistake. I'll get you anything. Money, riches, fame, power, your own galaxy, please.
No.
You may notice that I didn't get any perps. Well, that's because I forgot I can't turn reds into purples. This is because the blues are linked to the purples, so I'll have to come back. At this point, I made a mistake. We rescued a leafling, which was then going to use the antidote I was saving for Olimar, which means we'll have to do another night mission. Yay. Wait, Jin? Oh no.
Deadly.
Back to the hero's hideaway. The first thing we do is go take down Leafamar. In all honesty, it was a blowout. Therefore, rather than showing you such a match that has nothing to do with the Nuzlocke, take a look at the sick shot I took upon beating Leafamar. Sick. With Olimar obtained, I go back to the plunder and turn blues into purps. And with that, there's not much left. All we gotta do is save Olimar and this Nuzlocke is complete. I'm surprised. We did have a lot of close calls and had a really tough time after losing yellows and rocks, but in the end, we did it. We kept moving forward, and now all that stands in our way is a night mission. Let's go, boys! We take a victory lap through the third area of the Sun-Speckled Terrace, for we haven't done it yet. It was very easy, just some larvas and some bulborbs. We didn't sweep, but we didn't have to. Just needed to survive the night and get a cure for Olimar. Was the cure obtained? Day 19 will be one to be remembered. We did it. We've saved Captain Olimar. And with that, we can finally head home. Wait, oh my god, it's so fitting how there's only reds, blues, and purples in this cutscene. Has that always been a thing? Does it go by the Pikmin you have? Wait, where are you all going? Don't leave me here! There it is. We have completed the Pikmin 4 Nuzlocke. This was a fun journey. I want to apologize for how long this video took. I originally had a run going, but realized the rules could use some tweaks, so I decided to restart, and I'm glad I did. Because of that, we were able to do another run. A better run. And it's all thanks to you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this run. Despite everything, I surely did. And wait, what the pluck? Is that Louis? Oh no, god no. Oh, and Ochi is sick. Great. Oh god, it's space COVID. So now, we gotta save Ochi, some other castaways, and deal with Louis' shenanigans. Truly a fate worse than crepes. I mean, death. Bars. However, it's not too bad. Remember how I said we reached the 13,000 Sparklium threshold? That means we have enough Sparklium to go to both of the new areas once we've reached the story beat. So I say let's finish this Nuzlocke for good. So to the next area we go. As soon as I land, I reduce the population of Bulbies by 25% and take out the bug-eyed Crawman, which would be my encounter that I'll get later. For now, I locate Louis, take out his forces, and save our first lead who will help us cure Ochi. I did lose a blue on the way, but not to worry, for I then take the Crawman to get me 20 more blues and head into the Dream Home, which was a waste. To get the castaway, I need yellow Pikmin, which no longer exists, just for me to leave said cave, realizing I could have got a Floor-like encounter. Ugh, it's okay. I'll be back. Well, ultimate testing range it is then. I gotta remember, I don't need treasures anymore. So I should just rescue castaways and get my encounters like these 5 winged Pikmin. And with that, I have encountered every type of Pikmin in the game. Finally. With that in mind, I just start locating the exits and finish the cave ASAP. I did get more whites since reds and whites are linked. Now I simply have to fight the man at legs. Shouldn't be too hard.
Hey, I have a gun.
Of course you do. Thankfully, Rush Boots trivialized this fight, and with that, we got the second Kopai Man. And with that, it was time for the last area, the last Andori fight, and of course, the last cave. It is time for the Primordial Thicket, the last area in this run. Since this is a challenge video and not a completion video, I ignore all treasures. I do get my encounter, which is in the form of a Flarlick, so I can at least have 50 Pikmin at my side. And with that, we take down Louie for the final time, hopefully, rescue Nelly, defend our extractors, and end the day early. But there's really no other reason for me to be here and risk losing Pikmin. It seems all the pieces are lining up. I think day 22, if not 23, will be our last day in this challenge. Was the discovery made that we have to get the space dog's cells in order to cure Ochi, we head back to the Primordial Thicket to track down Louie and the mysterious dog. And by that, I mean head down to the final cave, the Cavern for a king. It all comes down to this. Will we win or lose the Pikmin for Nuzlocke? Floor 1 wasn't too bad. I kind of forgot that Mush Mush Man can respawn to Spore-like enemies, so I realized I couldn't play safe and I had to be aggressive. Unfortunately, I did lose 1 perp in the process, but other than that, Mush Mush Man went down.
I'm unseen to the naked eye.
I forgot he does that. Floor 2 was much easier. Bait out the bullboard with a pick car card, clear out the dwarves, and take out the jumbo bullboard with some well-timed strides. No casualties. Floor 3 was a little scary at first, but I realized if you stay in a certain spot of the room, you'll only have to deal with 1 Bedouin Snagrid. And since the room is so small, the Snagrids don't move around much, meaning you can cheese them easily. Next floor. Floor 4 wasn't bad either. Just a tad bit annoying was the camera and locking on the things other than the Arctic Canopy, but another easy win with no casualties. Okay, this is where things are gonna get bad. I had to fight 3 Emperor Bulblaxes compared to the 2 I fought last time, but I had a plan. Since I had perps now compared to our last battle, I have a lot more burst damage. So with some well-placed pick cars, I easily stunned 2 and burst 1 down. 1 blue got caught sadly, but their sacrifice did not go in vain. I avenged the lost blue and take out the final Bulblax. Having purples is like night and day in these fights. Next floor. And just like that, I get swept by some stupid blowhogs and went from 48 to 12. That's just embarrassing. Me overthinking the timing was when to call the Pikmin back, even though it still didn't work, was what really threw me off. No pun intended. That just sucks. Well, on the bright side, at least we didn't extinct any units. Let's try to move on. Floor 8. I decided to return to the surface real quick to readjust my troops. Blues and whites away in place of the reds. I only have 2 perps left, but I need them for a specific fight in this cave. So once I return, I put the perps in a safe spot and sweep the crusted rump up with ease. Floor 9 was a bit troublesome. In theory, while reds can't swim, as long as you call them back before they get shaken off, the water doesn't really become a problem in the battle. Surprisingly enough, no casualties. Oh god, there's a cricket in my walls. Get him out. Floor 10. Let's see if, oh, shoot, it's the Smoky Prog. Oh, shoot, there's no lights. Oh, no, Smoky Prog in the dark! While I was absolutely terrified, first I had to fight this mud, for I could not see where I was going. Now to the fight. It actually wasn't all that bad. Since Smoky Prog is somewhat slow, all I had to do was dance with it, as in knowing when it attacks, when to jump, and when to whistle counter. Rinse and repeat a handful of times, and the Prog goes down. Floor 11 was a bit nerve-wracking. It was another dark level with a bunch of Bloomcamp Bloisters scouting the area. This was the walking embodiment of a horror game. The big problem at first was that these guys are bulky. Well, I mean, not really. They have 3000 HP, but the problem was they would shoot off Pikmin almost instantly, meaning this fight was going to be very drawn out. Until I realized that they eat whatever is in front of them, meaning I could have them eat bomb rocks to do significant damage to them. And thus, the fight was shortened by 5 minutes with no casualties. Floor 12 was another rest floor, while floor 13 was a fight with the Guildmander. I start by having it create our battlefield, fed it some bomb rocks, and just burst it down. We did lose a few reds, but as long as our 2 perps remain, we are golden. Floor 14, another easy one. Just have the horned cannon beetle take down the larva, and then focus on the big bad. No casualties. Oh no, I forgot all about this floor! This was a bit of a wild strat, but we start by using Ice Blast on the water to freeze Baldur's Gate 3, and use a Spicy Spray to do some burst damage. When he thaws out, I would go collect my reds and do it all over again. He did hit me once and got a good amount of reds, but at this point, I expected this fight to go horribly wrong. But we're still standing. I really hope we're almost out of here. I forgot how long this cave is. And this was the floor I was saving the perps for. Floor 16.
That's right, I'm back, and I brought a friend.
Sup, my name is WW2, as in Waterwolf2. Can we, get tacos after this?
As long as you keep an eye on where the water wraiths are, this fight is pretty easy. Destroy both of their vehicles first, then hunt them down until both of them are taken down for good. No casualties. Okay, now this fight is a make or break point. I need to execute this fight with the utmost caution, the utmost precision, the utmost... You gotta be kidding me. Well, I lost Ochi yet again. Therefore, I returned to the overworld to bring him back. In order to do that, though, I had to appease the worm gods.
Give us pink, that's your favorite color.
Let's be honest, I wasn't going to use them in this run anyway. Oh hey, Ochi is now back again. Back to the Empress. Now that I remembered how little time you have between attacks, I played it as safely as possible. And with a little bit of luck and some close calls, we took down the Empress this time. But we only have 26 Pikmin to our name. The reason I can't bring my 2 perps or 5 whites is because if either of them go down, red and or blues also go down. So this is it. This is all we have to work with. I'm really starting to forget how freaking long this cave is. Okay, let's do this one more time. Floor 18, the big lad himself, Sovereign Bullblacks. I start by feeding him a bomb rung, to which I send my troops after him with an ultra spicy spray. I then do it again to make quick work of this Bullblacks. If you have the tools, it can be a really easy fight, even if you don't have that many Pikmin. Onward! This is it. Our final resting spot. With candy pop buds we can't even use to only having 26 Pikmin left. I knew what was on the next floor would not only be our toughest fight, but the final one. Whether we win or lose, the run will conclude on that next floor. Let's do this. I use my 16 glow seeds to add glow Pikmin to the mix, and begin my fight with the ancient Sire Hound. The first phase wasn't too bad. Due to the lack of Pikmin, each phase is probably going to take about 4 damage cycles. With that, the first phase is down. Phase 2. This phase is also easy, for it's even harder to lose your Pikmin. Upon damaging the Sire Hound, I left it at a sliver, so I threw a bomb rock to finish off this phase. Now he's a little more lethal. He starts by throwing electro balls on the ground that you need to take out. This is where the glow Pikmin come in, since they're immune to all statuses. I got 2 balls down and the Sire Hound was about to go for the strong electrical attack. I knew at this point we had to thread the needle to get his tail in order to do damage. Let's go, Ochi!
I appreciate your tenacity, but you're not strong enough. Come back when you're stronger, my little morsel.
Dap! Forget about us! You need to save yourself and Ochi!
As long as you guys breathe,
There's always hope. Dap, no! As I was saying, we need Sparklim to fix the ship up. As we fix the ship up, we can also increase the range to look for more survivors, as well as the rest of our team.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
What?
We need to do this.
Am I
and our new recruit as well as the pick.
alive?